we'll be making this tricky neckline. I call it a tricky neckline because looking at it, you might get yourself confused trying to make this neckline. So to achieve this neckline conveniently and comfortably, we are going to we have already drafted my basic bodice pattern. So this basic bodice pattern right now, we are going to alterate the neckline, and I'll show you how to go about it. So the first thing we want to do is to divide our shoulder seam line. Okay, we are not actually making a bust here, but we are going to use this shoulder seam line as a guide. So from here to here, I'll divide by 2. I'll get my mid point. So I'm going to keep my ruler straight from here. This is my center front line. Okay, this dotted line is the center front. So I'm going to direct my ruler from that point to that midline, but I'll be stopping this line on the mid arm hole. So that is just a guide. Okay, so it has to stop here and it has to be directed to this point. So the next is to create that neckline, and this neckline, I'll come up from my mid armhole by 1 inch, and I'll place my ruler on that 1 inch. I'll place it to the tip of this to create the neckline, and the neckline goes this way and stops here. Okay, so that is the kind of neckline we have right there. So right now we don't need this line. This line was a guide for us. So the line we needed was this one and this one. So I'm going to extend this line a little bit more, as we have right there on the thumbnail. I'm going to make 2 inches from the chest line. That is where my line extension will get to for the construction of this neckline. So now it's time for us to start cutting and alterating our neckline. So to cut and alterate our neckline, we need to close up our waist dart. If you notice, you can see I did not make any bust dart. Okay, so this is actually a plain dress and it does not need a bust dart at all. So since we don't need a bust dart, simply I'll just get my dart leg to the bust point line. This is my bust point line, and I'll just redraw this to get to the bust point line. Okay, so normally that is how we'll do that, but I'm doing this so I'll be able to close up my bust dart and alterate this pattern perfectly. So now I'm going to make this line. I'm going to make it get to the, okay, see what I will do. This is where we want to stop it, so I'll just connect it to this point. Okay, so once that is connected, I'm going to cut right away for our alteration. So it's actually very tricky. If you look at it, you might not really know how to go about it, but with this tutorial you'll be able to have this. So I'm cutting on the shoulder seam line. So another thing I want to talk about is alteration of this neckline is allowed. Okay, I just did this on the, so I'll be cutting, this is the neckline. Okay, so I'm cutting this neckline and I'll have it get to this point and I'll stop. Then I will stop there and I'll come in here, as you can see. So I will go in here, and from here I'm going to cut off through my armhole, and I'll cut the sides. So this is what our dress is looking like now. So now it's time for us to do what? To close up our darts. So to close up the darts right now, I'll just come in from here. and cut this line. This is the line at which we are having this dress. So this line is supposed to stop here at this point as drafted, but because we are closing up our bust that to create room for that part, I'm going to do what? Go to this point. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to close up my waist dart, not bust dart, please. We are closing waist dart, so I'll just cut through this dart and close up. So you can also close this way, and it's even easier for you to close this way. So by the time you close, you notice you have a space for what we want to work on. So you can see this one, I also close this one. Okay, so once you close, you have that bust illusion. As you can see right here, there's a bust illusion. So you can see that place is popping up. Okay, you can see the bust illusion at that part, and that makes our work a whole lot more easier and fitted for us. So make sure you close it well. I'm just trying to close it well. Okay, so there is closed, and I'm happy with what we have right there. So you can see what we are going to work with now. So I'll just come with my pepper now. I'll place my pepper below like this. Can you see? So I'll place my pepper below. So I'm just applying my adhesive at the back of my pepper, so we'll be able to work this neckline out. So you can see what I just did, just to work out this neckline. So this neckline right now, I'm going to make an extension of it. As you can see, I will make an extension of it this way. So I'm going to extend it by, okay, because we are going to fold it in by right. Okay, let me do this first. So let me just trim out the excess we don't need, so we know what we are working on. So this is what you are going to do. This edge, if you notice on the thumbnail, you notice that this edge, okay, I'm talking about from here to here, which is this point I told you we have that pleat. I'm going to pick it up this way and allow it overlap here. If you notice, this part was supposed to be here before we closed up our bust dart, and we have room for the pleating. So I'm going to pleat it back to this point. Can you see? So by the time you pleat it back, all this area, as you are seeing right there on the thumbnail, it goes in. Okay, and you still have your fitted bust area. So this is it, and it laps exactly on this point. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just do this. I'll trim what I have here. Okay, once I trim there, I'll open, then we'll cut from here to that point. Can you see? So this is what your dress, what you are going to use to cut your your dress, okay, the upper part of your dress. So the upper part of your dress has the neckline this way. So the back is a normal back. So all you need to do at this point, you spread off your dress and add your necessary seam allowance the way it is. Just add, okay, and with a scuba fabric, or as you can see right there on the thumbnail, you have a better result. So you need to use the fabric that will give you this exact result as you're having on the thumbnail. So if I'm adding my seam allowances now, I'll add my seam allowance on the shoulder seam line. I'll add here, I'll add here, I'll add here, okay. Then I can use a facing, just a little facing to sew it, or the way you know how to finish up your neckline. So once you are done facing, then you bring this way, okay. So this is also technical. When you are going to sew it, it's also very technical. So but I'll just pretend I've sewn it. Once I've sewn, you will see there's a button there. So that button is to do what? To close up this. So make sure you make your notch on where exactly this dress is going to stop, okay. So when you're cutting it, you spread it open so you'll be able to make notches. Make notches here, here, and here, okay. You make notches here, here, and here. So by the time you pick your dress and pleat, this is what you are going to have. So if I have to cut this on my fabric to demonstrate it, if I say let me cut this on fabric to demonstrate this, this is what I'm talking about, to avoid confusing some people. So if this is your fabric, you are going to lay the front piece of your fabric. So once you have laid the front piece of your fabric, next you will do is this: place it, secure with your pins. Then you add your seam allowances, okay. I just want to bring what my explanation home. So I'll add my seam allowance of 0.5. When I come here, I'll go this way. When I come there, I'll go this way. When I come here, I'll go this way. So seam allowance is 0.5, whether you are adding a facing or you are doing anything else. So when I come here, I'll cut the armhole, add 1 inch on my side, add half an inch on the waistline, okay, add half an inch on the armhole, then add 1 inch. So I'm done adding my seam allowance, as you may see, as you can see. So you have seen it now. So what I was trying to explain is, at this point, at this junction, you already have it going in. So I use a notch for it, and at this point I have a notch for it, and at this point I also have a notch, okay. And it is also very important that you mark out the point at which this pleat will get to. So if I take off my pins, I'll just hold it down and lift up, okay, and make a mark. This is what I'll do before I take off my pattern. So now I've taken off my pattern, and these are my notches. So this one is the first notch. I'll pick it to meet what I have from here, Okay, this is how I pick it from here. Can you see? I'll bring it over to here, to this notch. So that is what we are talking about here. And you can see by that time you have finished running and closing the necklines. You can see I'm just pretending folding it in as if I've already treated my neckline appropriately. So by the time you do that, you just go over to your ironing table. Just go over to your ironing table. You can see that to that point. Just angle it to that point so it stops at that point. You give it a good press. So by the time you give it a good press, this gives you what you have there on the thumbnail. Okay, so that is how to go about it. So make sure you do it well. So if you also wish to come down from the neckline, you can just angle this line towards the midline. It's all your choice. So you can give it a try and let us know how it came out on the thumbnail. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial, and see you in the next class. Bye.